Okay, let's start with a big question. What if the biggest problem in your sales team isn't your people, but your process? Today, we're going to dive into a new idea called a sales operating system, specifically looking at OptimaSales AI, which is making some pretty big promises about changing the way sales teams get things done.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. There's this tension in pretty much every sales team, right? Are you building your success on a few star players, the heroes? Or are you building it on a system that can make everyone a high performer? That's really the core question we're tackling here. So, think about your own team for a second. What happens if your top salesperson goes on vacation? Or even worse, what if they leave the company? Does your revenue just fall off a cliff? Does a huge chunk of your sales knowledge literally walk out the door with them? If that sounds familiar, well, you're probably running on heroes.
In this slide, this really gets to the core of it all. See, the problem usually isn't about motivation. Your team is probably motivated. It's not about a lack of talent either. The real breaking point where things fall apart is execution. It's those small daily actions, when they're done inconsistently, that cause the whole thing to crumble.
Now, it's important to know that this isn't some theoretical idea cooked up in a lab. No, this was forged in the trenches, in the real world of sales, and honestly, that's what makes it so different.
We're talking about 2 solid decades of hands-on experience. 20 years. That's a long time to see what actually works in practice, not just what sounds good in a textbook. And that experience is the bedrock of this entire approach.
And listen, this experience wasn't earned in some cushy, predictable office job. We're talking about the tough stuff. Door-to-door sales, direct B2C, relentless telephone sales, and complex B2B deals. And this was across all kinds of industries. Insurance, telecom, you name it. Each one had different products, a whole new set of objections, and a completely different rhythm. That's how you learn to build a real sales engine.
So all that real-world experience, all those lessons learned, they all led to this. Not just another app you add to your tech stack, but something different. A fully integrated sales operating system.
Okay, so what does sales operating system even mean? Well, think of it like this. It's a single, integrated system that pulls together everything a sales team needs. CRM, KPIs, calendar follow-ups, coaching. The goal isn't just to log data after a call. The goal is to drive execution. And that word, drive, is the key to the whole thing. And this image here really brings that idea to life. You can see how it pulls everything together. The sales funnel, the CRM, the calendar, team management, even AI coaching. All those scattered tools and spreadsheets are finally in one coherent dashboard. The idea is simple. One place for everything. One single source of truth.
Okay, so how exactly does a system like this take that chaos we were talking about earlier and turn it into control? Let's break it down. I mean, does this list look familiar to you? Because these are the daily headaches for so many sales leaders. That constant nagging worry that follow-ups are being dropped. The frustration of watching your reps juggle a CRM, their calendar, and a dozen different spreadsheets. And that awful feeling as a manager when you're basically flying blind until the end of the month. This is the chaos that a proper system is built to solve.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. Because a lot of people hear this and think, wait, I already have a CRM. But the whole argument here is that a sales operating system isn't just a better CRM. It's a completely different category of tool built for a different job.
And here it is, the core difference boiled down. A traditional CRM, it's basically a database. It's a system of record. It's a library where you log what already happened. But something like OptimaSales AI is designed to be a system of action. It doesn't just ask, so, what's in the pipeline? It tells you, here's the next step, and you need to do it now. That shift from passive record keeping to actively driving what happens next, that changes everything. So what does this mean for the actual salesperson on your team? Well, it means they wake up and know exactly what their priority is for the day. They have a prioritized contact list waiting for them. They see their KPI targets right in front of them. They even get conversation scripts and AI coaching to help them handle objections in real time. The bottom line? They stop just hoping for a good day and start executing a plan. That means way less stress and a whole lot more control. And what about the manager? The benefits are just as huge. You get a real-time dashboard of your team's activity. You can see conversion rates at every stage. You know the quality of the follow-up, not just if it happened. You see the health of the pipeline and know exactly who needs coaching and on what specific skill. It's the difference between crossing your fingers for a good month and actually leading a system that produces predictable results. You get a forecast you can finally trust.
So when you put all of these pieces together, what you get is a fundamental shift in how your sales team operates. You're moving away from guesswork and towards something that's way more predictable.
This slide really sums up the whole transformation. You go from being dependent on a few individuals to running on a repeatable system. You go from new hires taking months to ramp up to them being effective in just days because they have a playbook. Follow-up stops being something you do when there's time and becomes a daily discipline. The manager stops being a firefighter and starts being a strategic coach. And maybe the best part, your results stop feeling like luck and start being the direct outcome of your team's execution.
And this quote just nails the whole idea, doesn't it? If you want predictable results, you don't need another tool. You need a standard of execution. It's not about piling on more software. It's about deciding how your team is going to operate, day in and day out. The tool is just there to enforce that standard.
Which really brings us to the final question you should probably ask yourself. Are you leading your sales with a real system and clear visibility, or are you just hoping for them? Just crossing your fingers and hoping your heroes pull through again this month?
At the end of the day, the promise of a true sales operating system is really simple. Less chaos and more closed deals. It's about replacing that frantic, inconsistent energy with a calm system that just works. If you're ready to make that shift, maybe it's time to look into a new way of running your sales. Thanks so much for tuning in.